we have got 9 of the 10 board members. The other one is Mr. Naidu has got prior commitment that he could not get out of. Since this is the first time that some of you are seeing these board members in a press conference like this, unlike, I think some of you, the last time you saw them was on TV when they were being interviewed, and the interim board members have been in front of you for a lot, many times. We have put the names in front of them so that I don't have to introduce all of them. I don't want to waste a lot of time. Can I take this opportunity to ask the chairperson of the board, Bongumusa Makhathini, to come and address us around what the response is on this matter.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us on short notice, and thanks to the board members for also availing themselves for this press conference. The SABC board notes the resignation of Ms. Rachel Kalidass as a non-executive member of the board as of today. Ms. Kalidass' resignation letter contains a number of inaccuracies, and in the board's view, mischaracterized her actions. The 9 non-executive directors present, all of whom are part of the appointment process, are here to respond to her comments and her reasons for leaving. The only non-executive director who's not here is Mr. Krish Naidu, who was unable to attend at a short notice, but fully associate himself with this statement. We will first deal with the facts and then state our position as the board. In the first discussion concerning executive appointments, several members expressed reservations about one candidate. Then and later, members on both sides of the argument asked that those with reservations do their research and provide a reasoned case against the candidate. All 11 non-executive directors on the 31st of October interviewed the candidate for the top positions. This was intended as an opportunity for all board members to question the candidates and raise their own concerns. Others with reservation raised them, but Ms. Kalidass remained silent. When she raised them later, the board members questioned why she alone had failed to raise concerns when she had the candidate available to respond. We regarded this as a matter of fairness. All members were aware of some allegations, but required that as a matter of good governance and fairness, we check these thoroughly in view of known cases where people have been falsely accused. At the meeting and in the subsequent emails, she admitted she should have made her case in a stronger way than she did. She undertook repeatedly to provide a clear written position giving her reasons, but repeatedly failed to do so. Other board members with reservation took the trouble to submit their written reservations, something Ms. Kalidass repeatedly failed to do. For the public record, point number 1, the process of appointing the SABC executives remained unconcluded. Point number 2, 3 names were submitted to the previous Minister of Communication for each position. Verification of the candidate credentials was still underway and intended as part of the finalization process. Point number 3, the board had correctly, in our view, agreed to maintain confidentiality while the process was underway. This is critical in respecting the privacy and the integrity of candidates who are still working elsewhere. What Ms. Kalidass has not disclosed is that this was not only to Parliament, that she had breached broad confidentiality, but also to several media outfits. When asked in a subsequent joint governance and Human Resources Committee meeting to explain why she had leaked information during a process that was not completed, she admitted calling members of parliament, admitted that she had shown bad and poor judgment, apologized, and offered to resign. No allegations of wrongdoing by the board was suggested. Point number 5. Once the decision on the executive appointment is finalized, the public will be fully taken into the board's confidence, and we will take pride in announcing the team that will manage the turnaround, that will firmly believe will bring the SABC back strong than ever before. The work that was done, or that was initiated by the interim board, has already had some fruit in stemming out monthly losses, and we are now focusing on major financial concerns, marshalling forces to address substantial remaining debt accrued during the previous times. Ms. Kalidass' self-characterization as a victimized whistleblower is incorrect. She participated in a board discussion in which no allegation of illegality was committed or contemplated. She then disclosed the content outside the board while the process was ongoing, giving the impression that this had been completed. Her conduct constitutes a breach of broad confidentiality. In the light of this history, we wish her well in her future endeavors. The integrity of this board will be judged by the work we do, and as a result, and based on the results that we achieve. We remain fully committed to serving this institution in the best interest of the public. When we get to the questions, I'll request my colleagues from the board also to assist, because as a board, we are united, we are all aligned in the statement, and we're all capable and prepared to address any question that colleagues may have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You've heard the response by the board, and I think it is time for you as members of the media to pose questions, and you know the drill. What you need to do, especially with some of the board members who do not know you. The floor is yours. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon.
Let's use the mic because it is on television.
Good afternoon. Because from the Times here. Mr. Makhathini, you mentioned that when the candidate was interviewed that some of the other board members also had reservations. I wanted to check, is that the same reservations which Mrs. Kalidass has mentioned now? Or was there other issues that were being discussed, or maybe the candidate was asked about?
Okay, another question? In the absence of a question, oh yeah.
From the Times. I just want to know, after the interview, even though you didn't have reservations, or some of you had them, did you reconcile yourself with the allegations against the candidate in terms of the veracity and the authenticity of the allegations put against him?
Okay.
SABC Radio News. I know that last week the board was also seeking legal counsel regarding the power to appoint the top 3 execs and the Minister of Communications role in this as well. Have you received any clarity on this yet?
Okay. Let us respond to those. I don't know who's going to respond to them. We need to do it here for the purposes of sound.
afternoon. I will take one or two of the questions and then I'm sure my colleagues will respond. The question about whether the concerns raised by Ms. Kalidass were the only concerns. The purpose of the interviews was to make sure that we get the best person for the job. Because arguably this is going to be the most important appointment for the CEO and COO that the board will make in the 5 years of its term of office. And it wanted to make sure that it not only gets a candidate of integrity, but also that has the necessary experience, qualifications, as well as track record to be able to turn around the SABC. So that's what the interviews were about. The questions about whether we checked the allegations, I think the statement is fairly clear that the questions were asked based on the information that we have about the candidates. And remember, we did interview 2 candidates on this occasion. And board members were asked to bring forward the questions. Ms. Kalidass did not, during the interview, ask the questions and only afterwards raise the issues. Subsequently to that, a committee of the board members was set up to look at some of the other issues and then report to the governance and HR committee. She was asked to submit her things in writing repeatedly, as we said in our statement. She repeatedly failed to submit her concerns in writing. That is where the situation was until the point that we had the meeting of the governance committee. So I think that the question that the board statement raised about board confidentiality, that if as a board member you have the responsibility to make sure that you interrogate matters when you have the opportunity to do so, and not 2 days after you fail to do so in a duly constituted meeting, then take the matter to the media or take the matter to a member of parliament and not raise it in the structure where you supposed to be raising it.
Okay. Any other response? Huh? Michael?
Hi, just on the question regarding the legal advice, the board has sought the legal advice, and if I'm correct, I think we received an opinion today, and over the next few days and weeks the board will be briefed by our legal advisors and decide on the best course of action going forward.
Okay. Are all the questions answered? Are you fine? Okay.
Can I just say something?
Yes.
Since you're such a quiet group of reporters, you should just know that we're all here anxious to respond and put ourselves on the line and assure you that we're all on the same page on all of this. I don't know if there's anything we haven't answered that you'd like us to. The process is incomplete. If you know who we are, you know that we're not going to make a decision that's going to call our integrity into question. It's just not what we're going to do. But if you're comfortable, then there's nothing much more we need to say, as long as you realize that all of us, including Krish, so every one of the non-executive board members, is on the same page on this. The process is not complete. When it's complete, we will proudly bring it to you, and we're determined that it's going to be good for the SABC.
Okay. Next round.
Paul from Soweto. Just clarification questions. I just wanted to find out how far is the interview process, and how many people have been interviewed for each position, for the CEO and for the CEO and the COO position. And I also wanted to find out, in terms of your vetting process, because I understand that there are allegations against this candidate, this specific candidate. So are you implying that your vetting process was not strong enough, to pick up those concerns, to an extent that it needed those concerns to be raised by the board members, or by board member or board members? Thank you.
Okay. There's a follow-up then.
Sorry, also just a question for clarity. I just want to check that the candidate that you were talking about that was interviewed and was vetted or sort of was checked, is this Mr. Alan Mukoki as identified by the DA in the statement, or is this another? Sorry, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this correctly. Let me just double check the name, sorry.
You're right.
Okay, cool, that is right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to check that we're talking about the same person.
We're talking about a process, not about a person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Mpho asked a question regarding number of candidates. We don't have offhand the total number of candidates that applied, but we can tell you that there were probably close to 50 or so who applied, if not slightly above. We have gone through a process of screening those candidates. Some were eliminated, others were shortlisted. There was an interview process that had a panel that interviewed the candidates. I want us to hear this very well. We are talking about candidates in plural. When the chairperson made his input, he said, we identified 3 candidates who are suitably qualified can be considered for the role of CEO and an equal number for the role of COO. So in common language, it would be you shortlist, you interview, you screen, you shortlist. It should also be noted that any of those 3 candidates for each of those positions are appointable. Once you have completed an interview process, you have to apply some circumspection, that's the correct word, with candidates. The level of candidate you are talking about, CEO and COO, is probably a CEO or a COO where they are already. They are unlikely to have told their employer that they're applying for a job at the CEO, at the SABC. So you don't go out and spread feelers on them. You want to be sure that you are almost at the end. Actually, some candidates will go as far as saying, under references, will only supply on request when I am sure that an offer is about to be made. So your vetting process is limited at this stage. Now, I won't repeat what the chair and the deputy chair and Mr. Matheson have already said. The fact that some of these matters came up in the interview means that the due diligence process was already starting. So there are references that can be contacted, but there are references that can't be contacted. So you don't have a full picture until such time that you have done all that reference checking. So I hope that addresses your question. In that, was 100% due diligence done? Not yet, because you can't do it until at a time that you really feel you are ready to appoint. Nico, we will not disclose any of the 6 candidates at this stage. We won't disclose the 3 for CEO and we won't disclose the 3 for COO. For the reason that the chairperson said, confidentiality, we don't want to mess up the jobs where they are now until we know that we are ready to offer them a position. I thank you.
Yebo. And we are the ones at the SABC who will, once the process is finalized, communicate that message to you, not anybody else. Okay? You're free.
I just wanted to ask, at a person level now, the board has just been appointed. When you have these kind of allegations, given the background of the appointment of this board, how does it make you feel as board members? That's a question to you, because obviously you'd have the public now being skeptic about the job that we'll have to do, especially when one of the board members is floating an exit saying, I'm unhappy about the processes. So even though we may not necessarily talk about the individual candidate at hand now because of the process that we have to do, but at a basic level now, in terms of going forward, how do you think we can better manage the discussions that are inevitable that we'll have about appointing individuals in the public broadcaster and the only judicial duties?
That's a good question. How are you feeling about this?
I feel very bad. The truth is, the public needs to understand that this board has been in office for 1 month. And as a board, we've had one board meeting, an induction process which took us about 2 days, and we've had subcommittee meetings, one HR and governance committee. So in essence, we've met 3 times. So for any individual to come up and make allegations that this board has got issues based on those 3 meetings, for me is far-fetched and irresponsible. Going forward, as this board, we will not be put under pressure to do wrong things. When we are appointing executives to run an organization like an SABC, we've got to do a proper job. And as a board, we've got to engage in robust discussions. And whenever you are unsatisfied or you've got a view to express, you must express it within the board. We're not going to allow rogue kind of people who will get out of the board and go out there because they could not express their views in a structured and in a confidential manner. We are not against communicating when we have finalized the process. So I have no fears, I have no worries. I've got a team of people who are capable, credible, experienced, and who know what they're doing.
You've got your answer, and you are happy. Any other? Done. Happy? If you are happy, thank you very much. We don't want to waste your time. The time is, for profile is just now. Okay, thanks.
Has everybody got a copy of the statement?
Yeah, we have printed them. We give them there.